Daniel Garcia is founder and main photographer of Content Magazine, an online and print publication dedicated to sharing the stories of the South Bay's creative culture. Content has given publicity and networking opportunities to countless individuals over its nearly decade-long run. In fact, I happen to be one of them. When I was fresh out of college, Daniel gave me a chance to prove myself as a writer and break into the field of journalism. We invited Daniel down to the studio for a fireside chat about his role as a cultivator within the arts community. Welcome, Daniel.
Hi, Johanna. How are you doing?
Doing good.
Good. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's dive right into those questions.
Yeah.
What initially drew you to creating a magazine, and why the choice of print in an increasingly digital age?
Good question. Well, I started the magazine, I have a history as being a photographer, and then I stopped doing photography in the early 90s when I had kind of like a spiritual awakening, and then I became a pastor for about 10 years, and I had a real kind of creative group that was in my college group that I was pastoring, and we wanted just to kind of like serve the community. And since I kind of had experience of doing photography and doing magazines as far as like, being a photographer and turning in prints to magazines and stuff like that, I said, well, let's do, like interviews, and let's do a magazine. I could do the photos, you guys can do the stories, and then we can kind of bless the community. So then we said, let's do that, and we can just kind of bless them and show that there's a real creative culture here in the South Bay. Yeah.
Very exciting.
And we did print basically because, I think that was part of your question, right?
Yes,
the reason we did print is that I just love print, and like online and the internet, it just seems so like fleeting, you know? It doesn't have permanency. Like, you know, even right now in this room, there's books that are on the shelf. They're gonna sit there forever. And so you can come back 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, 100 years later and pick it up and look at it and see that kind of slice of culture and stuff. So it's to kind of like really honor the artists and what they do. And then also too, when I was younger, growing up, I didn't really have like access to art or anything like that. So I would get magazines, and I would even get books and stuff, and I would cut the pages out, and I would put up in my room kind of like a gallery of artwork from the magazines and from the books. So my kind of thinking is too, is that as I showcase people's work, maybe other people would like that artwork who maybe couldn't afford to buy art, and they could put it on their wall and then kind of have a way to kind of like keep the tradition going, I guess.
Absolutely. I really enjoy that. On social media, you refer to yourself as the cultivator. I'm curious about what that title means to you.
So that kind of was like a natural kind of birthing from starting the magazine, because when I started the magazine, I would meet somebody and they'd say like, oh, you're the editor of Content Magazine. I'd be like, no, I'm not the editor. I don't do words. I'm not a words person, or I don't even, see, I'm not even saying that grammatically correct. So I was like, no, I'm not the editor. Then they go, oh, well, you're the publisher. I was like, no, I'm not the publisher. I really don't know how to publish it. So I felt really insecure, and rightfully so, that I could not claim those titles because I really didn't know what I was doing. I don't have the skills and the experience to do that. So then somebody told me, was like, oh, well, what do you do? And I go, well, I just kind of like bring things together that I want to do for the magazine. They go, oh, you kind of like cultivate it. And I'm like, yeah. And then they go, you're the cultivator. And I'm like, yes, I like that. I'm the cultivator.
It's catchy.
So then I just kind of latched onto it and then kept it. And so that's what it is. It's really not, I'm not a magazine publisher. I'm not an editor. I'm definitely not the editor-in-chief. I'm not even really an art director. I'm kind of just a guy who had a vision to help the South Bay in their creative thing, and I just kind of brought things together. So I'm cultivating that. So that's what I do.
So let's talk about your journey as a photographer for a moment. How would you describe your style?
So I guess the thing is that what I would aspire to, right, and I don't think that I've gotten there. I'm still trying to grow, right? But my idea for me personally for photography is that I want to make that image, to get that image of that person that's like the classic image, right? That they're gonna love, and then when people look at it, when they think of that person, that image is gonna come to mind. I, as a photographer, am not concerned about representing the person like that's who they are, like, oh, you've captured who they are. My real goal is to present them so that other people will want to get to know them. So it's a little probably a different kind of view of photography. Some people really set out like, I want to capture that person's soul and really have this picture communicate who they are. I think that's all kind of BS. I mean, I don't think you really know anybody from a photo, and the reader brings in so much. So my kind of thing is, how can you look at the picture, and this is, you know, even for other photographers that are helping out with the magazine, is that I want to look at it and be like curious. How does it spark curiosity more than it portrays who that person is? So it's kind of like a, let's build this kind of thing so that people can get to know you, you're representing yourself, and then hopefully they would want to read about you and be a patron of what you create. So that's my kind of perspective and goal.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on the show, Daniel. It was a pleasure having you. I'm Johanna Harlow. This is The Local Creative, and we'll see you next time.
I've never been thanked so much.
Do you feel appreciated?
I feel really appreciated. Yeah, that was like 10 thank yous. But why weren't you looking at me when you... So I don't know if it was sincere. Yeah.
You know, I'm actually blind.